Let's take a deeper dive into creative journaling. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I'm pulling a video from the vault of Patreon. This is a former exclusive video for my patrons, and it is all about creative journaling. We did a whole series on creative journaling a couple of years ago that I think we all very much enjoyed, and I thought I would bring a few of those videos out for you this summer as I am moving and getting all my new space set up. So without further ado, let's check out a creative journaling video diving deeper into the process of creative journaling. All right, so here is my creative journal planner for the week. This is the week of March 6th through the 12th. I'm going to decorate it, and we can kind of talk about getting started in your creative journal. I don't know about you, but when I started creative journaling, it didn't necessarily come super natural to me. It wasn't easy for me to start writing things down that maybe had more to do with my feelings and stuff like that. It was a little bit harder for me to do. And so I found some ways that helped me dive deeper. Some of us are really good at kind of pouring out our thoughts and our heart onto paper. And then some of us have a little tougher time, and sometimes you kind of bounce between the two. And that's kind of my style for creative journaling, because it takes me a hot second to kind of open up even to myself in my own journal. So I have a few ways that I do that. So I've been using this stress management layout. It actually doesn't really matter what layout you use, whether you're working in a planner or in a bullet journal or a notebook. Whatever the case would be, it helps me to structure where different emotions are going to be. I'm someone that follows structure really well. It's definitely in my personality. And so having structure on the page serves me really well, because I can just, it kind of allows my brain to open up in different ways. And I start at one place and it drives it deeper. So for this week, we are going to focus on gratitude. And I think that that is always a really great place to start with your creative journaling, because I think focusing on gratitude is just something that can for real change your life. It might seem silly. Writing 3 things you're grateful for every day might seem like an obvious thing to do to a lot of us that perhaps have been doing this more regularly. But it can really help change your mindset. And what I do, especially on a weekly basis, if not on a monthly basis, is I challenge myself to not repeat any of my gratitude entries. So here's what I'm talking about. I'm actually going to use these boxes. Sometimes I use them for wellness. In this case, I'm going to use them for gratitude. There's 4 in each box. I'm going to challenge myself for 3. So I'm actually going to take up this bottom row with something else. And what I will do is take things I'm grateful for, and it's really easy to repeat those. You're grateful for your family. You are grateful for your home. You're grateful for your health, your job, your faith, your church, your any of these things. You could list those every single day, because we're grateful for them every single day. But I think it's also fun to challenge yourself to see how you can look at gratitude in kind of a different way. So let's get started. I'm trying to see where I'm going to use these bright colors. I love words. Having words kind of help me dig deeper. What I want to do is I want to have a place where I'm focused on gratitude, and then what's the size of this? And then a place where I want to focus on something that I want to change or something that I want to fix. Maybe these stickers aren't going to do it for me. Let me go look for something else real fast. Okay, I actually think these boxes are going to work really well. So these are etched out for monthly, but I'm going to put them like this. And let's talk about how, I'm going to turn this in a different way. I'm going to kind of format this in a little bit of a different way. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go all the way across. I'm going to list out things I'm grateful for each day. And then I'm also going to list out something that challenged me. And then I'm going to expand on that. Why am I doing that? Because a lot of times when something challenges you, that's when you start to dig. You have to dig deep. Something is challenging you. You have to dig deep to deal with that challenge. So let's add a little bit of something to here. These will be cute. Okay, I'm going to add these in some different parts. Put this here. This one can go kind of here. And just covering up the corners. And the deal is I'm designating these spots in advance. Could I need something else possibly throughout this week? Maybe. Like maybe something will happen that I need to journal in a different way. Generally why I have multiple journals working all at the same time. There's lots of, different ways to do your journaling. I feel like I'm going to go ahead and use the sticker because this one did not properly cover that box. Do I put it here? Let's go here with this. Okay. So we have gratitude, challenge, and then this is where I can expand on overcoming and or not overcoming that challenge, because sometimes we get challenges that we don't actually overcome easily, especially in a particular day. So that might be something that comes up. And then for me, let me find, the other thing that I tend to work on is just identifying some emotions. And I will walk you through this. These are some Post-its that I got at Go Wild that I think are adorable. And so I would like to include them in my journal because they're cute. So we're going to just have them at the bottom. And these are going to be emotions. Just put those on some different parts. Let's go with this one. Well, and then butterfly at the end because why not? Okay. Get this down. And then we'll put this one. Okay, I'm still trying to leave plenty of space to write. And now I'm going to add even more space to write. So I have these three that say happy thoughts. And again, this will be another place. This will be kind of event-based, I think, for the week. This one will be here. Is this going to cover? Yes. That's looking good. Here's the other thing I want to mark. Buttons. Love that. I don't know that I want to write anything right there. I don't know what I want to put right there. Let's put this guy down. All right, that's a pretty good start for this page. I could put some of these up here. Let me look at my pipsticks and see if I want to add any of those to this page. All right, these happen to just be really cute stickers, and so I might just add a few of these because I love me some pipstick stickers. Let's see if we can add a few of these. Maybe not. Maybe those are too tall. Okay, that's cute. And this one probably goes this way. Might end up a little bit cut off, and that's okay. That's cute. I always love adding lipsticks into mine. Then add some to this side. I generally like aiming for lines. That's pretty cute. Get one to fit here where I won't take up any writing space. Always a good goal. That one's cute. Two more this size. That one's wonky. Perfect. And one more I think I will have in this direction. Okay, so I got my bird houses on. Let's see what else I can add. I love these little mushrooms. Add those along the top. Gonna kind of spread those out. Those are gonna be layered with something else. Because we can add these little animals, which are adorable. And again, the decorating for me is just for fun. It's kind of therapeutic in its own right. Just because I like decorating, I like bright colors, even if I'm not talking about bright color events per se. I think it's fun to use the colors, to use the pieces. And so I tend to not shy away. Don't know about this one. We'll have this little guy flying right here. Put some more mushrooms. One here. Actually, he's kind of flying out of those. Maybe this guy is chasing this mushroom. It's like a whole field of mushrooms over here. A couple of places for flowers. I don't think we have any flowers over here. Let's add that and this. Soften up those edges. A few more birdie friends. Flying through. And then get all of these down on the paper. decorating done. That's the fun part. I've kind of thought ahead of what I'm going to put. Let's take a little bit of time to, let me show you how I fill it in. All right, so let's start with Monday the 6th. I'm actually recording this on Wednesday the 8th. I'm a little bit behind on my creative journal. I'm behind on all things after Go Wild, but I can still think back. And remember, I'm going to mark 3 things that I'm grateful for, and then I'm going to write a challenge that I had. And I'm going to go ahead and fill out the challenge first because that what was on my, or what's on my mind. And that is going to be, I had a fight with Adam. So a disagreement with my husband. That was a challenge. We're going to expand on that in a second, but let's talk about the gratitude. So I have flexibility. I was grateful for flexibility in my schedule. All right. Grateful for new patrons joining. And I was very grateful on Monday for my craft studio. This was me kind of coming back from Go Wild. I was really thankful for some flexibility in my filming schedule and the ability to kind of ease back into things on Monday. I got to welcome a ton of new patrons this past Monday, and I was just so overwhelmed and excited to have them join. And then I'm always thankful to be back in my craft studio. It's just my happy place. So I list out 3 things I'm grateful for, and then that is a challenge. Usually I would fill this out at the end of the day, a challenge that I had for the day, and then I would talk about either describing that challenge or how I worked through that challenge. So let me just take a minute to write that out. What that helps me do, how that helps me go deeper. I'm someone that would end up just listing things that happened. This happened, and that's totally fine if that's the level you want to do on your creative journal. By setting specific things that you're talking through, it helps me dive deeper and process things that I wouldn't normally process in different ways. So it's really up to you. Creative journaling, there are no rules. Sometimes I tend to be on a more surface level. I tend to write the funny things that happen, write out the things I ate that day, write out activities, and that is totally fine. It's still sparking creativity in me. And that's totally fine. There are also times though that I want to start kind of working through some things. I want to take notes, and especially if it's a lesson I learned, then that's something I want to write down because I know my learning style. Writing it out is going to help me soak it in a little bit different. It's one of the reasons I got into faith journaling. It's one of the reasons paper planning works really well for me. Being able to write things out makes an impact on me, and I'm guessing it probably does on you as well. So focusing on gratitude and then writing a challenge and either getting into the details of that challenge and or how I overcame that challenge is something that I like to focus on. So let me fill that in just a little bit. All right. All right. So I just wanted to note the reason for the fight, me being stressed, coming back from Go Wild, coming back into like reentry and having, all of the things waiting for you, all of the adulting, all of the work, all of the things, hit me hard on Sunday, and I definitely got snappy. And so something I try to work on is voicing that to my husband. That's just so that he knows I'm feeling really stressed. This is why. Instead of letting it come out in little snappy things, because that's never going to end well. So that's just something I'm processing. And I want to remember, like, I felt stressed. I felt a lot of stress at the beginning of the week. Post Go Wild is hard. So that's something to remember and for me to process so that when I have a similar trip like that, I can prep for it in advance. All right, let's move on to Tuesday. So again, I'm going to start with 3 things of gratitude. I was grateful for Penny, and especially Penny Cuddles. I was grateful for a delicious lunch. and my children's health. It probably seems strange to have it in that order. That's just what jumped into my head. You don't have to rank, and you also don't have to judge. You can be grateful for deep things like health, and you can also be grateful for a new pack of stickers. Those are fine. Whatever comes into your head will work just fine. All right, a challenge I faced on Tuesday was most definitely feeling behind on all the things. So that was kind of a feeling that I was fighting all day, just feeling really behind on things. And so then I can take just this little bit of space. It's not overwhelming to expand on that. All right, so I just wrote about how I feel like I'm busy a lot of the time and I still feel behind, and giving myself permission. I don't have to do everything. I'm allowed to have a dirty house. I'm allowed to skip a day of filming. I can give myself grace. And again, this whole process, what it helps me do is focus in on what I want to journal. I feel like sometimes we just don't know what it is we want to journal. But if I just focus in on my gratitude first and then a challenge, then that helps give me a direction, and that really can solve a lot of issues when it comes to that blank page, that fear of the blank page. You know, I already decorated it. It's fun. It's happy. Not all of this is fun and happy for sure. Talking about a fight with my husband or feeling like I'm behind, those like feelings of inadequacy that come up. But it's decorated. That was my creative part. This is like the diving deeper part. Some of it is very surface level. Being thankful for a delicious lunch feels very surface, but you know what? It was what was on my brain, and it helps like pull away layers so that I can dive deeper into some other things. So that's kind of how I do it. I make a plan, and when in doubt, I start with gratitude, and then I focus on a challenge that I am experiencing either on a specific day, or there are times when all of this could be the same challenge. You could be going through a challenge for a week at a time, for months at a time, and maybe you're expanding on that challenge each day. You're just kind of digging through it because we all have different types of challenges in our life. That's just a place to get started. I'm going to say it again. You can do whatever it is you want to do in your creative journal. You might like to list things. You might like to track things like the weather and your outfit of the day and your meals, and that is totally fine too. If you are wanting to dive deeper though, and you don't know where to start, talk about some of those different categories that we talked about earlier. Figure out one that you could expand on. And for me, doing it every day in a week, or even if I miss a day, but kind of going back and working through those types of prompts helps me start to dive a little deeper. And the more I do it, the more used to it I get, and the more my brain is able to process those different things and recognize those different things within my week. I hope watching this process kind of in real time to see how I fill out some of these journal pages was helpful to you. Let me know what you like to get out of your creative journaling. Are you focused more on the creative part, more on the decorating? That's totally fine. Do you want to dive deeper? Do you like to dive deep already? I would love to know how you like to use this. Having the actual pen to paper helps me so much. Using some of my creativity, surrounding myself with bright colors, things I love, also helps me a lot as I dive into that. And I do the same method in my bullet journal. It just kind of depends on what's going on for the day or for the week. Obviously, if I have more to expand on, I can just jump over to my bullet journal. And for me, giving myself permission to go back and forth to use each one when I feel like I need to use it also helps me a whole lot. Let me know below if you have any questions. I will link things, but these are just stickers for my stash. Like I've told you before, in your creative journaling, you don't have to go buy a bunch of new things. Use what you have around, because if you have it around, that means that you probably already love it, and or maybe you don't love it and you just want to use it to get it out of the way. That totally works too. I am thankful for each and every one of you. I would just want to continue to encourage you to give your creative journaling practice a try. Give it a few minutes each day and see what comes of it. I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.